Alright, I'm going to bring the foundation and the details onto the sheet, so I do need to create a new sheet. This is going to go in between elevations and first floor plan. So I'm going to rename elevations so I can make that 3 of, and I'm going to rename the section so I can make it 4 of 4, and that allows me to have room to put in a sheet 2 of. So I'm going to create a new sheet, rename it, call it 2 of, and I want to call this the foundation. Whoops. Foundation plan and details for now. And I'm going to start off by dragging and dropping my foundation plan onto the sheet. Get that positioned correctly. And you have just enough room if you're careful about where you put your dimensions. So I'm going to activate that view. Oops. Activate that view and edit the crop region so I can have better control over where I put that. So what I'm thinking is we can fit some detail views that I had identified right over here, because I can still shove that over a little bit further, and I got room to put some of the details, especially this one right here. I think really belongs on this view rather than on the view with the other sections. So I'm going to grab that section. We're going to rename that one. I'm not sure which section that is. I think it's section 2. We'll find out in a second. That's it. So that's section 2. And I think I'd like to rename that one haunch. Haunch at garage door detail. The scale of this I'm going to change to, let's try a 1/2 inch equals a foot, just to make it a bit bigger. Where's 1/2 inch? There it is. Deactivate the view, and then oh, certainly we can make this a lot shorter. So go back in, activate the view. I'm going to turn on the crop. It's already on. That only needs to go to about here so we can see the edge of the roof, and I certainly don't need to go back past the frost wall with that. And that should do it. So I want to pick that up and put that right about there. Should be good. And then you can pick up the view and put that right underneath. Okay, so this is where I want to draw what's actually going on with that haunch right here. And so I'm gonna draw that in with the detail components. So I'm going to create what are called detail lines. And that detail line is going to be a solid line. And I want it to be a wide line. And it should come down from here to, well, let's get this right first. This should be 9.5 inches down. So I want to set that at the correct distance. So if I annotate it and go from the top of foundation wall, oh, you know what? We should be doing this in the actual detail. So let's activate the view, and that's going to help. All right, so detail line, wide line. Just get the line in there first, and then we're going to use an annotation dimension to get that at the right height. So I want to get that dimension in there, then select that dimension and make that 9.5 like we had stated in the plans. And we can leave that dimension in here because that's helpful. That shows us where that haunch is going to go. I'm going to add another detail line that goes from here at about a 45-degree angle to that spot. Now that's supposed to be filled in with this this hatch pattern as well, and the slab is supposed to be showing the hatch pattern, but it isn't. So I'm going to select the slab and override the graphics in view by element. I want the cuts pattern to be visible, and I would like it to be by material, so I'm wondering why it isn't showing. So let's find out what the material color is by material. That's okay. Let's see what it's set up here for material. We want it to be concrete, right? So let's apply that. And that fills that in. This is also going to be concrete. So I'm going to create a crop region, a filled region, that matches the size of that triangle. And that way I can fill that region with the same concrete hatch pattern. So do I have the concrete hatch pattern in here? I do not. So I'm going to edit this type and rename it, duplicate it rather, concrete. So now I have a concrete hatch pattern. I want to add the fill pattern for this to be concrete, and then I should be able to fill that area in with concrete. Alright, so we hit checkbox, and then that's now filled in with concrete. Now I want to get rid of these lines. So you can select that triangle and just bring it out just a little bit further, and it should get rid of those lines. Now if I don't want to see these lines to the hatch region that I created, we can select the hatch region, we can edit the type, and we can make the outside edges of those lines, instead of one, we can make them invisible, I think. Background opaque. Let's see what happens if we edit the boundary again and select the lines and make them invisible. That's what we do. Invisible line, and that's going to be in an invisible line. And then we can check it off. There, perfect. So that's what that haunch should look like, and that's how we determined that that was going to drop down 9.5 inches. So we can even let's make that even more clear. And I'm going to point to this. Whoops. Using an arrow, and that's the haunch at garage bay 9.5 inch drop. There, that makes it really clear. So we see that we're dropping from, oh, I didn't put that at the right spot actually. That should go up here to the top of wall. So that means this line should go 9.5 inches from that. And we just need to make some adjustments with that triangle. I'm going to bring it in a little bit more. Let's see if just doing, looks like I might have to edit the triangle. So, oh, I know what I need to do. I just need to bring this line in, and then bring this line in, and then we've got it. Perfect. So that's going to work fine. So there's the dimension is going from the top of wall in the background. You can't see that as well, but there is a top of wall in the background. Let me see if I can grab that and pull that out a little bit further. It's going to make it so that we can see that note a little bit better. So this is where top of wall is, and this is showing that there's a 9.5 inch drop. Why don't we say 9.5 inch drop from top of wall. Perfect. Okay, so that clears that up. We see that detail. We understand what's going on there. Yeah, that's a great way to fill that page. Let's take the other detail and see if it's going to fit on the section view. No way! So we got to find another spot for it. So let's see if it will fit on the foundations, planes, and details. It's pretty tight as well, so we can look in the first floor plan. We certainly have a lot of space being taken up by a lot of things here. I'm going to reverse the position of these. That will go up there, and this will go here. This is all just kind of sheet management here, and let's see if we can fit that detail right here. So I'm going to go back to that section, and this is the last section we have to find a location for. And we may not need it to be at 1/2 an inch, and I certainly don't need to see all that information. So I'm going to activate the view, I'm going to bring that down just to about here so we can see it and we understand that we're going from the garage to the house. And let's see what happens if we do make that at 1/2 inch equals a foot scale, if it's going to be too big. Um, Maybe a bit too big. Let's see if it's going to fit. Um, hmm. Scrunch it a little bit more. It's nice to see those stairs. Maybe you want to go flip that section and we can do that easily. So let me try that. Will that fit? Not quite. Alright, so it looks like we're going to have to keep that at 1/4 inch equals a foot scale. So I will leave that at 1/4. Move it into a better position and then we can show a little bit more of the detail. No reason why we can't show the whole thing then. Alright, and I am going to change direction for that detail. Before I do that, let's hide the crop region. So all I want to do is go to the view that I have the section in, and I just want to look in the opposite direction so I see the stairs and beyond. So I think I want to do something like that so I catch the stairs. So let's try that. So I'm going to go back to can close that actually and go back to that section view, and you see that just flipped it. So we see the stairs coming down towards us from the basement, and we can see the relationship between the garage, how we step up and onto the landing for the stairs and then get into the house. So I think that's a good detail right there. I am going to make this a little bit more informative by making it a medium detail. So that way we can actually see the components that we're looking at, and it looks like I have to do some fiddling with this to make this look a little bit cleaner. Alright, so I've got a reference to where we are here for the garage slab. It's hard for me to see it, so I'm going to extend that arm out a little bit. And then I can see the top of wall reference. And then over here we have our first floor is at 0. I think this would be more organized if we switch these. So I'm going to not have it show up on this side for either one of these. And then that way I can have those tags show up on this side instead. If you're not seeing them, it might be that they're beyond your view. So if you thaw the view, we can bring them in. There we go. We want to show them here and here. And now I think we're going to be able to slide that back and those are going to come along with us. Perfect. Okay. But again, we have a visibility issue here, so I just want to kick one of these out and slide that back far enough and bring this down far enough so that we can read what these each one of these are. And I think that's going to do it for us. We certainly don't need all these dimensions, so I'm going to get rid of those. Okay, so now I have all my references that I need for heights. And these are critical dimensions here where we want to see what's the height of the slab relative to where we step up onto the door, and then what height is the stairway landing relative to our subfloor height here. And so, by the way, I was able to get these to read as better dimensions, getting rid of the 0 and for the 0 feet, and also suppressing or setting the precision to 1/16 of an inch by going under Manage tab. The project units, and under the length format I switched the rounding to the nearest 16th and I suppressed 0 feet. And that applied obviously all the way through the project. Just to make this a little bit clearer, I'm going to also add some annotation in here. So this is the mud room. Oh, there we go. Mud room. This is the stairway. And this is the kitchen. And that's going to make it really clear. And this is the closet. Abbreviate the closet. That's going to make it really clear to somebody who's reading that section, you know, what's going on with that section. There, I think we've certainly handled the foundations. I would clean up this a bit if you can find a better spot to put that section so that it's not being overlapped. Let's see if we can pull that into a better spot. It's going to change your section that we just messed around with a little bit, but that's all right. We can also take this dimension here and move it over so it's not being hidden by that section view, and then I think that cleans that up well enough. And you can see that that didn't really change our section view. The other thing I did do, by the way, is I added some detail lines in here. I know this is really muddy. We're going to get into another video for me to show you how you can set your line weights. But I added some framing that would go underneath this wall. You see this wall is at the foundation wall height. You wouldn't increase the foundation wall here at all. It would just be you build something on top of the foundation wall to get this door height to be what you wanted it to be inside this wall. So I built that up so it was level with the landing of the stairs, and so I just used a 2x6 and a 2x4. So the 2x6 and 2x4 with this is the piece of sheathing that would go underneath the threshold. This threshold detail was just brought in from the detail components. I went under doors. If we go to annotate, we have to activate the view to do this. I'm going to annotate. Load family objects, I went into detail items, and specifically I went under openings and door hardware, and I found a wood section threshold which was good enough to show what we were doing in that spot. Okay, so please send me your emails or ask me questions, and I'll make as many videos as you need to finish up this project.